I wake up next to a fireplace. The warm heat is comforting. I'm watching someone make some tools in a fire. There's steam, flames banging and sparks. I see some amazing shiny things being made, and I get to play with them. I understand when I'm older, I'm helping out with antiquing. I'm given things to play with to add all kinds of random bumps and scratches. Some of these objects I like more than others, the ones that seem like magic. My lovely parents tell me all kinds of bedtime stories about the origins of the objects, who originally made them, and about different kinds of supernatural mystery. Life is one big adventure as we travel through countries going to temples and churches. We are looking for special and unique artifacts with the purpose of making our own versions of them. My mother is charming and a sweet talker. Sometimes we will buy fakes. We copy them, make them better. Sometimes she breaks into places, makes molds if objects are complicated, and we cast them later. Or we get jobs at local workshops, find old casting molds or prototypes. We have been known to break the originals in homes or temples and then copy them when they come in for repairs. We never steal anything or do anything bad. Unfortunately, not everybody sees it that way. So, if we copy something, we sell it as far away from the source as we can and move on before it's discovered as a fake. We meet some soldiers one day that actually want us to copy something. A short bow and 6 arrows. They like the copies very much and they want to set each. They have a little archery competition. They are dressed in black and gold, and are somewhere in between a tribe, a family, and a troop. There is hierarchy and orders, and order. They have some other weaponry they want copied, double-edged blades, small bits of armor for hand-to-hand fighting, and intriguing gloves they use for catching arrows mid-flight. And a blade breaker, a spring-loaded knife that absorbs the blow and bends or nicks your opponent's blade. It was quite difficult to use, but specifically works against people that are much stronger than you and could trigger the mechanism. I asked them questions, where they came from, where the fighting was so intense, where they got these things from. I think because I'm so young, they are happy to talk to me. I'm not any kind of threat. There are soldiers that have had enough of war and fighting, and had gone to a sanctuary to heal their wounds, to a place where fighting is outlawed. He asks me, with a sorrowful look on his face, "Have you ever done something and then wish you had not, and felt very bad about it the next day, and the next day?" I once broke a statue it took my father a month to make. He was very upset and angry. I felt hurt inside. I still even feel a little bit of that hurt while I'm telling you. I inherited the soldier's wistful look. This place can take that hurt away. It's up in the mountains. It's a hidden valley. We all went there, winners and losers after the horrors of a year of war. We used to be enemies, fighting against each other. When the hurt on the inside went away, the reason to hurt each other on the outside went away. As fighting is the only thing we know, we have learned to do it for fun. Now we just have competitions once a month. If you lose, it's not for very long. We practice, we get better and stronger, and eventually we win. Winners are rewarded with 3 months' food and holidays, so inevitably they don't win next time. We share our weapons and techniques with each other. In fact, there are lots of treasures there, and a whole library of things people have left behind. This place sounds great. I would love to go. I'm sure one day you will. In fact, everyone should go. You need a key to get in, though. His friend calls for him. "Listen," he said. "Let's talk about it later. Right now, I have to help my friend. He has lost for 2 consecutive months, and he can't lose again. I have to help him train." Instinctively, I say, "Maybe I can help." Part of me wants to get to know this soldier better, and the other part to see the treasure of the valley. "How long until your fight?" 4 days. "I can fold your knife with another metal 6 times and make it with a slot you can use to catch your opponent's blade and flick it out of their hand, or at least unbalance them. You can practice with mine for 2 days, and then with your own. I show him in slow motion how it works. How about it?" Excitedly, he agrees. I work and temper his blade, and a couple of days later, I hand it back to him. "Outwardly, it looks the same," he says, "but it feels different. It has the winner's touch on it." He gives me a single gold coin. It's a fair price. There is a commotion a few days later, and the soldiers disappear without any goodbyes. War has broken out, and they were keen not to be part of the fighting and have moved westward. We, conversely, move east to sell our weapon-making skills. The next 2 years are very turbulent. Sometimes we get paid, sometimes not. We figure out who the winning side is and help them. Our modifications to the bolt action of rifles made them much more reliable, and we replaced the soft steel parts with our superior knife steel. On occasion, we inadvertently got a bit too close to the fighting. Well, it comes to us rather than us seeking it. And in one of these fracas, both my parents are pointlessly killed. I don't think anyone knew who they were. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I gather up all the things that mean the most to me, collect up the money and the dreams we had. As a tribute to them, I set fire to the workshop we were in. It's the closest I'm going to come to a funeral, and it gets rid of all the casts and tools we've made. I, for certain, do not want anyone else to have them. As soon as the blaze is out of control, I leave. I look back once. It's just a glow on the horizon. I never want to look back again. It's clear to me that the Japanese are going to win, but I need to get away from here. The words of the soldier and the description of inner hurt came back to me. All I can hear in my dreams is the sound of fighting and death. Perhaps it's all finally overwhelming me. So I decide to go to Singapore, where I have some friends who my parents had sold antiques to in the past. The noise of the steamboat is intense, and it just reminds me of the war. At Manila, I switch to a sailboat and finally find some peace to gather my thoughts. I cannot spend my life running from place to place. I need to find some security. Should I buy some land, make a home? Should I live in the countryside or in a city? The only thing I have in abundance is fear and questions. I reassure myself. I have skills. It's not convincing, nor a window to inner peace. Instead, I decide to count the money I have left. This is quite comforting. It represents a lot of shelter, food, and even escape if I ever need it, which these days seems quite often. In my books, I find a coin glued to the pages for safekeeping. The one the soldier had given the younger me for making his knife. I unglue it, put it onto the pile. I take a closer look. I don't recognize its markings, and it has little holes in it that are full of dirt. I have plenty of time to pass, so clean and polish it. The engraving on it is a mountain range. The holes are stars, and as I hold it up to the light, it's a night sky. It dawns on me that this is the greatest treasure in my bag. This is the location of the valley. My heart races with joy. My mind spins with possibilities. Finally, some good luck. There is more information on the reverse of the coin. It's a long way north and west into the mountains. I recall his conversation more fully and resolve to find the key before embarking on the long journey into the mountains and perhaps seeing my childhood friends again. Singapore. William and Margaret instantly recognized me and are very sorry to hear about my parents. They offer me a job, but seeing my determination, they help me get passage to Tokyo as a courier. They give me some pearls and gold to take to a dealer there. I'm surprised how trusting they are, and I begin to realize that I have inherited my mother's reassuring demeanor. Another of their friends is going in a few days, and she's prepared to take me with her. I asked William if I could store some of my belongings with them. They are very happy to, and for a few days I sort through all the strange bits and pieces that I've brought with me. I wonder which ones I could sell in Tokyo, and try and take in the past few weeks, and wonder where my life on my own is going to take me. My Japanese travelling companions, Kiku and Chio, are two wealthy women. I get the feeling they're happy to have a young man as a travelling partner. The steamship journey is quite long, and they take the time to teach me Japanese language and customs. And I showed them some easy knife fighting. I don't think they were really interested in learning, but they were just carried along by my enthusiasm. So, I'm wrong. They are both carrying small knives called kaiken, and once we speak enough common language, they start to trust me more, especially when they hear my story. So they teach me more Japanese. I sharpen their knives. To one of the kaiken it's possible to add a blade breaker to the top. I show Chio some slick techniques to easily cut the wrist or the back of the hand of your opponent, and a few other annoying and painful injuries. We get on really well by the end of the journey. Chio gives me her address and asks me to send her letters so that she knows I am safe in her hometown. She comes with me to deliver the pearls, as it's not an easy place to find. The shop is full of all kinds of vases, hairpins, swords and incense burners, and intricate metalwork. Chio is talking to the owner, Takahashi, at great length. I'm looking around, wondering what and where and how, and why did I come here? There is clearly a lot of wealth, but where do I start? Then I see a familiar thing. It's a small fighting knife hiding inside a bamboo pole that my father made. I ask Chio to tell the shop owner that my father made this knife. Takahashi does not think it's possible. The tanto knife is very old. Before he has a chance to show it to me, I draw the engraving I know is on the blade and the inscription on the tang. He opens the knife and the design is there. But he doesn't know there is another blade in the handle, and there you can see the inscription. I'm sorry to tell him that the knife is a copy. I used to play with it as a child. All of these bumps and scratches were made by me. He looks at me with a faint smell of money in his nose. Even if he's from a culture far from my own, I recognize the look. I bow as best I can. Please let me work here. I will make you many, many things from times gone by, and you can sell them. We can work together. I understand the good fortune the Singaporeans have given me. I am very grateful. I look up from the bow with my mother's face. This tanto, Takahashi says, make me another. He smiles and opens the door to a friendship.